Today, I'm going to show you how to make this didge, this didge, and this didge. But these are all just steps on the path to making this didge, the ultimate DIY slide didge. This is a slide didge. But this isn't just any slide didge. This is a WoodSlide, one of the most high-performance didgeridoos on the market today. In addition to its amazing tone quality, the WoodSlide can be played in all 12 keys, often eliminating the need for a player to carry any more than this instrument to a gig or recording session. The downside is it's also one of the most expensive didgeridoos on the market, coming in at around $1,500 at the time of this recording. Is there a way for me to build a comparable slide didge for a fraction of the cost? Today, that's what we're going to find out. I also want to build something that anyone can make using parts found at their local hardware store. I've decided to use PVC and ABS pipe, which is a very affordable and durable material. PVC pipe is very easy to cut, and it has a lot of prefabricated connectors that will come in handy in this build. Since I've never built this before, I'm gonna buy more materials than I'll actually end up needing. I think we got plenty of options now, but I'll include a breakdown of the final cost at the end of this video. But before we build our ultimate DIY slide didge, I wanna just show you 3 simple PVC didgeridoo designs that you can make by literally just walking into your hardware store and snapping pieces together. So here's the first one. You get one piece of pre-cut 1.5 inch diameter PVC or ABS pipe. This one happens to be 5 feet in length. And this 1.5 inch to 1.25 inch trap adapter with a nut on it. And this becomes your mouthpiece. And you literally just snap them together and you got yourself a didge. If this 5-foot length is too hard to play, you can actually have someone at your hardware store cut this for you. 3.5 feet to 4 feet is the perfect length for a beginning didgeridoo. The next design uses PVC that gets progressively larger. So we start with a 1.5 inch pipe, then we go to a 2 inch pipe, and then we go to a 3 inch pipe, and we use all the necessary connectors. So start with my 1.5 inch, and I use the 1.5 inch to 2 inch coupler. Literally just putting it together like Legos. 2 inch goes in there, and then the 2 to 3 inch. And lastly, the same mouthpiece, the 1.5 inch to 1.25 inch trap adapter. You can hear how loud this one plays. The progressive design acts as a megaphone, going from a small diameter at the mouthpiece to a wide bell. The third didgeridoo design uses these 90-degree street elbows with 1.5 inch diameter PVC or ABS pipe. You just start piecing them together and you kind of make a spiral design. There's actually a mark on the pipe that you can follow, and you can line up the seam with that, and that's a perfect 1/8 of a turn. But you can zigzag them however way you want. It's really the length of the tube that's going to give you the key of the didge that you're going to get. And I'm just going to piece them all together. Got my mouthpiece, just going to pop it on that first piece that I did. Now let's go build our ultimate DIY slide didge. All right, so we got all our stuff from the hardware store right here on the table. We've got our pipe lengths. These are going to be telescoping inside of each other. We've got our connector pieces. We're going to slightly modify them. And then we got some other weather strip that we're going to just kind of experiment with. So here we go. I'm going to take the 1.5 inch pipe, put it into the 2 inch pipe. And as you can see, the gap here is not very big. What I'm thinking is that this white tape is going to be pretty good. So let's see if I can get some of this on there. And then what I'll do is I'll reinforce it with the electrical tape. And what this does is it keeps the seal nice and tight. Let's see how the seal is. That feels pretty nice. so I'm gonna grab the mouthpiece. Let's see how this sounds where it's at. Already not bad. How about further out? It doesn't feel like it's that loud to me, which is one thing that I really wanted out of this Didge. So I'm gonna go with a next tube and try to flare it out and see if we can get like this around this same pitch, but louder. You can see also, this has a huge gap. And that's why we need a much bigger tape foam insert situation to really stabilize it. That's pretty good. Okay, let's see if that made our joint work. Oh, that feels good. So now let's try the two joints together and see what we get. This sounds great. The slide mechanisms are done. Let's move on to the next step. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to lubricate these with a little bit of olive oil. I'm just going to cover the part that makes contact with the inside of the outer tube. I'm going to see if I can go for a low E. That's kind of my desired spot. What I can do is put my tuner on. Here I'm using the chromatic tuner on the iTabla Pro app. Okay, so I was able to find the low E, so I'm gonna take a measurement of this total length, and that will determine our final length of our instrument. Start to end, including the mouthpiece, 112 inches, 9 feet 4 inches. I'm gonna cut the 3-inch pipe at 48 inches. I'm gonna cut the 2-inch pipe just a few inches shorter than that. And then I'm going to cut the 1.5-inch pipe just slightly shorter than that. And this is so no pipes fall out the bottom when I push them in all the way. This is a 1.5-inch to 2-inch reducer. So it takes a 1.5-inch pipe and a 2-inch pipe and it joins them together. But what we need is the smaller pipe to pass through and slide in like a telescope. So what we actually do for that, we're going to remove this inner ring, which is the stopper, which stops the smaller pipe from sliding through. And we're going to use this Dremel tool and the sander bits to open this up just a little bit to allow it to slide through. My Dremel died on me, so I switched to a battery-powered drill instead. So I'm using 3 different bits, a coarse, a medium, and a fine. And I'm going to start with the coarse so that I can take off material, then go to the medium, take off smaller amounts of material, and then polish it up with the fine one. So I finished opening up the slide joint covers, modifying these reducer pieces, and now I'm going to put them on our Didge and see how they go. No side-to-side wobbling, at least not any significant amount. All right, this thing is fully assembled. Let's try it out. One thing I still want to try is throwing a bell on the end and see if that gives it a little more punch. After throwing the bell on there, I do notice that the sound projects a bit louder. The total materials cost for my DIY slide Didge was $167. Not bad, but I still want to see how it stacks up against a professional Didge like the WoodSlide. Now I'm going to do a side-by-side comparison of 3 different notes on the WoodSlide and the DIY slide Didge. So I'll play 1 note on the WoodSlide, 1 note on our slide Didge, just so you can hear the quality difference. To be honest, the WoodSlide does have a richer timbre than our DIY slide Didge, but I have to say the DIY slide Didge is very enjoyable to play, not to mention that it has those lower tones which the WoodSlide can't reach, getting down to low E. Being able to play those super low notes confidently makes this one of the most unique Didges in my collection. Not to mention that it only costs $167 to build, while the WoodSlide will run a price tag of almost $1,500 at the time of this recording. If I were to build this again, there are a few things that I might do differently. For one, I would probably go a little bit shorter than 48 inches on the exterior pipe. I think going slightly smaller will give me more high tones, and I want to see if there's a way that I can go higher while at the same time keeping that low range. What I would probably want to experiment with is adding a fourth tube, a 4-inch diameter PVC pipe that allows me to telescope out even further.
What do you think? Pretty low. That's probably the lowest didgeridoo I've ever played.
Lastly, I would experiment with different bell designs. I've seen people put traffic cones at the end of Didges. You can flare this PVC out into 6 inches, and there's a lot of different options out there, whether prefabricated or custom stuff that you can do. But as of now, I am very happy with this, and I'm gonna definitely keep this Didge in my kit. If you're watching this and if you have any great DIY Didge ideas, please post in the comments below. I'd love to see what other people are doing and love to know how I could improve upon this in the future. If you want to build any of the DIY Didges that you saw in this video, check out our free do-it-yourself Didge Maker's Guide in the link below. While you're at it, please like this video and subscribe to our channel to get updates on future videos. Lastly, check out our Didgeridoo tutorials and lessons playlist where you can find lessons all the way from the very basics up to advanced level rhythms, circular breathing, vocalizations, and more. Enjoy!